Brodie Brazil here at SAP Center to recap Game 69 on the season. San Jose came out and scored first, but Carolina got the final three. The Sharks hadn't played since last Saturday. They actually looked fresh at the beginning of this game, but over time the Canes shook off their rust. They were clearly the better team through 60 minutes. There are a lot of headlines and backstories to tell you about with this game. We'll do that before we get into the highlights.
It was the highly anticipated NHL debut of Luca Cagnoni. He's been having such a tremendous first season in the AHL, 47 points in 63 Barracuda games for the once undrafted WHL player. A lot of high hopes for the future of this offensive-minded defenseman and what he'll eventually bring to the Sharks on an every-season basis.
He's a good puck mover, gets back to pucks quick. He's got all the tools. The only question we have is he's 5'9". It's a heavy game, especially tonight. It's going to be trial by fire for him, but he's also very smart in the mind. I think he'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of been saying it all week since the call-up. It's pretty surreal. Definitely where I started my career, like not getting drafted in the dub, and yeah, it's a pretty special moment, even for my family. Probably them the most, too, seeing me go through it, and them being by my side, it's pretty special to have him here. Definitely put in a lot of work in the summer. I wish I could tell you I expected it this year, but honestly I didn't. Kind of came into the year hoping to get some AHL and see what happened, but it's been a pretty unreal first year pro. And then on the game, first period was pretty tough. They're obviously a hell of a team over there, top of the league, so it was definitely nice to kind of play a good team and get my feet under me. In the second and third, I thought I was a little bit better.
Also a first for goalie Georgi Romanov, his fourth NHL appearance, but his very first NHL start. He came in and played pretty well in his last game against the Caps, and we're pretty sure he's the first Sharks goalie ever to wear a headband under the mask. Yep. And then, of course, we have to recognize the former Norris Trophy winning San Jose Shark. Brent Burns just turned 40 years old and tonight playing in his 911th consecutive game. It's the fifth longest streak in NHL history. The Iron Man passing none other than ex-teammate Patrick Marleau on the list.
Our first headline of the night is William Eklund's 15th goal on this season. And I've got to be honest, I'm pretty sure I've never seen a Sharks goal in recent years be scored in this fashion.
Such an interesting play here from the very start. The Sharks are on the penalty kill. That puck is well trapped in this wall battle between two Sharks and two Canes players. It eventually pops out to William Eklund, and 72 is off to the races. It's going to be a 2-on-1 here against Brent Burns, who does that patented starfish move. Usually saves a goal, but this time it trips Eklund. A penalty's called. The puck beat Frederik Andersen. It went in the net. Eklund doesn't know it at this point, but the officials would actually call this a goal on the ice. They later go back and review it and uphold the goal. It crossed the line before Eki crashed into Andersen, and there was no goaltender interference, so the Sharks' fourth shorthanded goal of the season makes it 1-0 13 minutes into the first period, and William here with a soundbite of the year candidate during first intermission.
What's been the key for you?
I think I'm coming to work every day. I work my ass off, to be honest. Every day I'm getting a little better, and that's my process here.
Our second headline of the night was the stellar work of goaltender Georgi Romanov, and even though he's spent the entirety of this season in the AHL with the Barracuda, he's actually going to be ineligible to play for them should they qualify for the upcoming playoffs. So why not make yourself comfortable here in the NHL level with the Sharks?
Romanov looked calm, cool, and collected from puck drop. He faced a dozen shots perfectly in the first period and stopped 9 out of 10 in the second frame. All pretty impressive when you consider he had a full 5 days to know this would be his very first NHL start and probably think about it a lot. His family traveled from overseas to be here for this game. These first NHL starts, they're always memorable, but they can't always be the easiest. The Canes scored twice in the third period. All their goals on the night were quality chances, no easy ones, and if it's the results that matter most, only one goal for the Sharks scored means 31 would have had to pitch a shutout tonight for the win.
The Sharks recently wrapped up their longest road trip of the season. That was 7 games over the span of more than 2 weeks. They went straight from that to this, their longest homestand on the schedule. This one is 8 games, and there's only 3 left. They're all against original 6 opponents. You've got Boston, the Leafs, and the New York Rangers. It's interesting because the Leafs are the only ones truly in a playoff position, but the Bees and the Blue Shirts, they're both very hungry here coming into the tank for every single point they can scratch out before the end of the regular season. So safe to say, nothing gets any easier for the Sharks in the road ahead.